Ruth Maguire, followed by Michelle Ballantyne.
I will respect your rights regardless of who you are. I will uphold your rights even when I disagree with you. When anyone's human rights are denied, everyone's human rights are undermined, so I will stand up. I will raise my voice, I will take action, I will use my rights to stand up for your rights. This was the pledge we were all asked to take by the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights on this, the 70th anniversary of the Universal Declaration. On Monday, the Equalities and Human Rights Committee hosted a human rights takeover here in our Scottish Parliament. It was a fitting celebration of the 70th anniversary of the Declaration, a real joy to be at, and I'd like to place on record my thanks to the Equalities and Human Rights clerks for organising, and all the human rights defenders who came, gave speeches, answered questions, asked challenging questions and took part in our breakout sessions. The Scottish Parliament is rooted in human rights. Human rights are at its foundation and its core, expressed through its founding principles: power sharing, accountability, accessibility and equal opportunities. Human rights are not some lofty concept or something for other people. They're the basic rights and freedoms that belong to every person in the world, from birth until death. Wherever you're from, whatever you believe, however you choose to live your life. On Monday here in the Chamber, I quoted Chest, Heart and Stroke Scotland, and I'm going to do it again because it's a beautiful submission that they made to our inquiry. Human rights remind us we're working with people and their lives, not just a condition, not a policy, not a statistic, not just a problem to be solved. They matter because they protect us from the worst that we can do to one another and highlight the joy and positive impact we can have. Human rights illuminate the respect and humanity we can show each other. Caring about human rights opens the potential to deliver dignity, fairness, equality and respect for all. And there are some really good examples of where the Scottish Government and this Parliament are doing just that. The work to tackle homelessness, social security, support for victims and witnesses and carers policy. In government, the SNP defend existing human rights safeguards, the Human Rights Act, Scotland Act and EU law, and are taking action to secure the progressive implementation of all human rights, including economic, social and cultural rights. I welcome the Scottish Government's commitment to incorporation of rights set out in treaties, but I would say that the most important thing is that this is done correctly, in a way that will work in practice, a way that will work in real life, and will result in real improvement in lived experience. It's worth taking time to ensure that this is the case. Now, I'm not speaking on behalf of my committee today, but I will take the opportunity to again speak about the recommendations in our report, Getting Rights Right. We want people across Scotland to understand and feel confident in using their rights. We want public bodies taking decisions to advance human rights. We want the Scottish Parliament to be the guarantor of those rights. The report... Yes, I will.
Gillian Martin.
Would the member agree that one of the most important things that the Scottish Scottish Government has done with regards to human rights is ensuring that anyone, regardless of their economic situation, can access free higher and further education?
Ruth Maguire.
I thank my friend and colleague Gillian Martin for that intervention, and I absolutely agree with her, yes. We want the Scottish Parliament to be the guarantor of those rights, and our report outlines 40 recommendations aimed at achieving these things. And I have to say, Presiding Officer, given the major changes to the rights landscape internationally and within our country, as or if we leave the EU, this takes on a new urgency. Recommendations include Parliament tracking the Scottish Government's progress against international human rights obligations, training on human rights for MSPs and staff, and integrating human rights considerations into all parliamentary scrutiny. And on that, I'm very clear that this needs to be about spotting opportunities to advance human rights, not just about spotting where rights might be eroded or impacted on. The committee also recommends adding human rights to the committee's remit permanently and creating human rights champions on each committee of the Parliament. As I said earlier, human rights are at the heart of the Scottish Parliament's vision for being a power-sharing Parliament. The task for us is to make sure that that vision is a reality more often. I know that our Scottish Government is committed to ensuring that Scotland is a modern, inclusive nation which protects, respects and realises internationally recognised human rights. And I'm sure that we all in this chamber want people across Scotland to be empowered individuals who feel confident using their rights. We want public bodies taking decisions to advance human rights, and we want Parliament to be a guarantor of those rights. There are loads of human rights defenders amongst us. There are lots of good ideas. There are lots of examples of best practice. The challenge now that we all have to take together is to make best practice standard practice. In closing, Presiding Officer, let me just finish with the pledge I started with. I'm sure it's one that no one would disagree with. I'll respect your rights regardless of who you are. I will uphold your rights even when I disagree with you. When anyone's human rights are denied, everyone's human rights are undermined, so I will stand up. I will raise my voice. I will take action. I will use my rights to stand up for your rights. Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Ms Maguire. Can I